and keep them in order. We also have our town administrator, Mr. Clay Jackson, with us. He keeps our town in check, he keeps everything in order, he is the head of all directors for each of our departments in the town of Forsyth Heights. Then we have with us Ms. Councilwoman Brownson, who is Councilwoman for Ward 2. She keeps track of Ward 2 in the town of Forsyth Heights.
Just a guess.
And she's a guest here with us. And we also have Councilwoman Hines, Council President Noble, who is council member for Ward 3. I got it mixed up.
And a member.
Ward 3. And a member of the finance team.
No,
I think
yes,
Finance Advisory Board. I thank you all for being here today.
okay. Very good.
Did I miss anything?
Mr. Now I'm going to put it up for the purpose of the meeting.
Okay, let me pull it up.
That's why we're here.
Yes, I thought I just said we didn't discuss the budget, actually.
But the role of the advisory.
I got you.
And I'm just going to just say this out loud, if you don't mind, Chair. If we have any residents or public discussion, we have allowed for on the agenda for public discussion. So wait until we get there for your questions and concerns. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Okay, so I have recognized the committee members. The purpose of the Finance Advisory Committee. The Finance Committee shall handle matters relating to the review of the budget and continuous surveillance of the budget. The Finance Committee shall have power to review and make recommendations with regard to mayor's annual operating budget, financial reports, and shall submit recommendations with regards to the proposed budget to the mayor not later than first Monday in June of each year. The Finance Committee shall further review all proposed amendments to this code to taxes, fees, and finances. Introduction, I already introduced the town treasurer and Mr. Frankenfield. Discussion, Mr. Frankenfield, State of Forsyth Heights, fiscal year 2025-2026 budget for the first quarter. Question for Mr. Frankenfield. Do you anticipate any shortfalls to the current budget in terms of revenue? Looks like we're a little ahead, right? But go ahead.
Yeah, no, at this point, so. Q1 is, we're not, we're only 25% through the year, so it's hard to project, but. As of now, and I'm trying to, you have a printout that I can just go from, I'm trying to use electronic topic. Even the budget versus that. Sorry, I can't. Computer's not working the way I want it to. But as of now, no, I don't foresee any shortfalls in revenue. I think results look great, right? Like we're right on track, budget's holding up what we expected to. So obviously more to come as we get deeper through the fiscal year, but no, we're in a good spot year to date.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, no, we not take, she's the public. She's not private.
Oh, this is very, okay, we're doing this uniform.
These are, let me see if I can find.
One.
And so I'll wait till my whole.
To public, yes.
Oh,
Because we don't want to be.
okay. Okay. All right.
I had a question. Oh, I guess the question I had is, I guess my concern is for the finances, and I know we just ended the first quarter, is that I guess maybe the spending, like, I guess I want to make sure that all departments are on board with spending. So we have admin, we have police department, are they, because then when you look at the bottom number, yeah, everything may look okay, but it may be places where people are already 50 to 70% at their point, right?
Mhm.
So that's not so, and then you get to where there's a resolution that we need to amend and move. Well, we really shouldn't have to do that if people are paying attention to their spending, or that the treasurer makes the town administrator aware that now it's time to cut off, because you cannot,
Mhm.
you know, or you're gonna have to go before this body and explain why you are so over budgeted when we had went through this whole budget process.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
I do. No, and I can't get it to pull up. My computer's giving me a hard time. I can't get on
Yeah.
Wi-Fi. But anyway, no, there's nothing that jumped out at me that we're, so again, we're 25% through the year, so we expect to spend 25% of our annual budget at this point. Thank you. So no, there's nothing that jumped out for me.
Okay.
And the one thing that I think we're doing a better job of
Mhm.
is use Chrome or use, there it's her. The one thing we're doing a better job since Mr. Jackson has been here is we're sharing financials, right? So like if the department heads see, hey, here's my annual budget, here's where I'm at year to date.
Mhm.
It's a reminder of, oh yeah, I've got this left to do. This is what I can spend. And we're finally getting to that where the monthly reports matter to management as much as they do to you, right? Because there are front lines, right? The staff are out there saying, hey, we gotta do this, we gotta do that, it's gonna cost this. This is how much I have left to spend. And that's starting to trickle through the process. So no, I think we're in a good spot. Everything's going the way it's supposed to. Obviously, things can change, things are gonna come up. Gonna be things we didn't account for
Yeah.
in the budget, and that's okay. We'll change the budget when that need pops up. Right. Like the Wi-Fi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Councilor, but did you, I'm sorry, Council President, did you get the list that you asked for in the email?
Yes,
About the-
you would like it?
Uh-huh,
She has it up there, the asset list.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one thing that I want to call to your attention is year to date, speed camera is producing pretty well. So through September, we've raised 42% of our annual budget. The thing I want you all just keep in the back of your head is speed camera comes with a lot of risk. The risk is we rely on the state's revenue sharing, the state's laws on revenue from speed camera. It's not 100% the town's decision. It's outside of the town's control. Meaning the formula is the town gets to keep its cost for running the speed camera program plus 10% of its total revenue collected for the year. The state can change that equation. So it's a great revenue source for right now, but it's somewhat out of our control. Something like property taxes, we
Right.
can change rates, drive more revenue to the town. Grants, we could go get more to fund our operations that we're already doing. Speed camera comes with state code involved, so there's some risk there.
And also with state restrictions on spending.
Correct.
It's not arbitrarily just deposited into the general account. To spend is to be spent according to the law.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, and then, the key part of that is, what did it cost the town to make the revenue?
Mhm.
Because so like we just went through this huge exercise where we figured out it took this many police officers this long to generate the $2 million we collected in speed camera
Mhm.
revenue last year. That's the piece that has the risk to it, because the state can come back and analyze our numbers and say, hey,
You owe us.
yeah.
Right.
You said it took you $2 million worth of cost. We think it should only cost you $1 million and we get the other $1 million. So
Yeah.
I'm just.
But is that like a formula? I mean, is that something in the police department that when they key in these numbers, it's calculating all of that? Or is it relying on, well, I think I'm gonna put this number in? You know what I mean?
So we came up with a process where I shared the list of staff, shared it with the chief, shared it with Clayton, said what portion of their time was speed count.
Right,
So they gave me a percentage, Clay 3%, because he's talking to the vendor and signing contracts and putting together legislation. The chief might be 10%, because he's staffing the guys and putting them out there. And then some of the rank and file officers, 50%, half their time is watching
Right.
cameras go on court. So
Right.
we went staff by staff and gave it a number.
okay. Okay.
But one thing I'd like to do is increase that process a little bit with timesheets. So they're trying to see what their scheduling software can do. I forget the name of the police scheduling software, but it's in process.
Yeah, because the reality too, you could be spending more time, right? Than less time. So I think the accuracy is important to the revenue. Because at this point, we could be losing revenue or we, may have gained more than we really could justify. So,
Yeah.
and we want to be accurate for me as a government, especially when we rely on sources from other places.
Yeah. The other thing I'd call out is, through the first quarter. First quarter of the year is pretty tough, right? We don't have much revenue. Speed camera comes in every month, but property taxes, the big money comes in October and January. So quarter one is before that first big property tax payment. So if we're up $100,000 year to date in the budget, that's a good sign, right? Our revenues are exceeding our expenses now. Property tax will come in October. So then our budget versus actual will look great from October through about March. And then it's the last quarter that matters. So I say all that to say is our revenue collection is super high from October to January because we get all that influx of property tax revenues. And it takes the rest of the fiscal year until the expenses catch up to the revenues that we receive in that little quarter of property taxes. So the other thing I want to call out, just to make you all aware of, is the balance sheet. So balance sheet reflects the permanent accounts of the town, the cash balances of the town between this year and last year. And I just want to show you the difference because I think a lot of the changes that we have made, we're starting to reap the benefits of it, right? So like we had these long conversations about liquidity. Liquidity is the ability to meet your obligations. So if you can find the balance sheet, and I'll pull it up so I have it in front of me.
That's transaction report.
No, it's more, it's got cash, yeah,
I had-
top and.
I feel like every time I see it, somebody just. Oh, here it is. Here's the.
I can't find the right one.
Oh, now look up here, y'all.
It's
It's not a lot. Please, thank you. Okay, yes, you may.
What is that,
The balance sheet.
So balance sheet, so I just want to call out the difference in cash between 9/30, 9/30/25 and 9/30/20. That's what I'm saying. And the gist of it is we're up about 200 from this time last year. Reflecting, thank you, Sunil. I'll give this back in 1 second before I finish with thought. The gist of it is the changes that we made, when we lost staff, we started cutting expenses, we cut back our services. That's translated into cash, right? So we have the base now, right? We have enough to cover ourselves through the fiscal year that we can think about. We're in a better situation for emergencies. We can start thinking about next year's budget. Do we start incorporating the things that we've put on the back burner as we went through this budget crisis? So, staff raises, staff benefits. Do we worry about employee retention? I think we were quick to make the budget balanced over the last couple of years. Now we have the opportunity to move forward with a little more strategic growth, right? You know, the thing that we talk about a lot is our vehicle replacement policies. So 22, 23, the police department was buying and replacing 5 vehicles at a time. Those vehicles have aged at this point. So we're at 3 years of probably a useful life of 5 for the majority of those vehicles. So now we get into how quickly are we going to replace vehicles? How many are we?
Replace or repair?
Replace. So repair is expensive at this point, right? Because the older they get, the more it is for maintenance. So we gotta find a way, and I know it's gonna be a big ask, because we probably have 15 officers that we probably, you know, that's our standard fleet that we need. But we gotta come up with a way that we're planning for this stuff, right? Like, we don't have anything in the budget. We just have repairs in the budget right now. My other places, you know, they're putting enough for 2 cop cars away a year, and then when it's time to swap out 2, then they have the cash in reserves. So that's where we're starting to go. We got the liquidity fixed, right? We have enough cash. So we can meet, you know, emergencies arise, we can meet our contracted spending. Now it's about how do we build out for the future and plan better for the future. So, sorry, I went on full long.
So
Drawn out explanation.
Talking around just what hybrid, EV, is any of that taken into consideration in terms of, you know, the purchase?
We haven't gotten that far. You know, I think we start saying, hey, how much can we afford in fiscal year 27's budget, right? Is it 100 grand? Is it 50 grand? Is it 25 grand? That we said,
And this is only for police department fleet.
I'm saying it's all,
Oh.
right, townwide. I think we need inventory.
So when we think about that, because I was at the, when I was at the conference, there was a session on, not conference, at the JWRCC coalition.
You said it.
And it was all about clean stuff, right? And what they were saying was that when you look at the use of electrical vehicles or EVs, right? If that's the thought, where do we strategically decide, you know, to use those types of vehicles in all of our fleet, in all of what we do across the town? Moving towards green and sustainability and things of that nature. So just to put that out there, that's something to consider in terms of what we want to do far as the actual, when we get to that place, actual purchase, where in our fleet will we consider using EV?
I think in that, with using that as a basis, that's the discussion that we as a body have to have, and this is how we have to plan. So maybe going forward, that if we have to replace a vehicle, it's going to be an EV. But what is that cost compared to this? How does that save in that going forward? That's how we look at it, and that has to be like our mission, right? So no more gasoline. We use what we got. The next one must be this, if it's going to be anything, right? So. And what is that cost on kilowatt and all, because it still costs something to run a car. It may not be gasoline, but you.
Yeah, charge the things that they call.
So that's what I'm saying. So, I mean, this is a body. I mean, we rely on Mr. Frankenfield to keep the numbers straight, but this body has to direct the spending.
Right. But do we have, I guess I have been trying to get my mind around the list of business revenues. Is there a such thing as a list of, we have a list of assets, but do we have a list of business revenues? Because we know that we got property taxes, we know that we have speed camera
Commercial
revenue, whatever that list is. Do we have that list like that, Tony?
So it's more about the budget, right? So the town makes money 5, 6 different ways. It's property taxes, it's personal property taxes, which are personal. I mean, so I'm saying as we look at the budget, it kind of breaks that down. As far as the customers or, you know, all the residents, we'd have to get that from the county. The businesses that we charge personal property taxes, yes, I can pull that from the accounting. Speed camera comes from 2 vendors, so that's pretty straightforward. Business licenses, code violations, traffic fines, I think we can get a list internally. But what I'm saying is the budget pretty much gives you the outline of how, and then inside of each how is a group of customers from which the town makes money.
And on that note, I had a question on the budget versus actual, the real
Mhm.
estate commercial. We have for actual 3,500, I'm just rounding up, but we have actual 3,500, but we budgeted 67,000
I think we're in a good spot, so that'll fix itself. We expect
with
our,
collection.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we expect our big one here in October and then our really big one in January. So any of those, it all comes from the county, those 2 or 3 different lines, rentals, commercials, residential, and there might be one more there. But what I'm saying is, yeah, that'll fix itself as we
Yeah.
get through the year.
Cause even on a rented residential, I don't see that making that budget amount, but I don't know.
Yeah, and it's
I
early.
don't know.
It's early. It'll fix itself.
I have a question just to get an understanding. Anything that says like budget 1,100,000 and then over budget negative 1,100,000, what does that mean? Like the utility taxes?
We haven't collected.
Yeah.
They haven't collected anything. That's
Yeah.
us.
So the first column is what's really happening
Uh-huh.
year to date. Second column's the annual budget. And then third column's the math
It's a
between the
difference,
2.
right.
Gotcha.
So like sometimes you could just run down this percentage of budget and see, make sure no negatives and we in the
Right,
positive.
and that's what I,
Yeah.
right, because there's 100 lines on
Mhm.
that report. I look for, on the expenses, I look if we're over 25%.
Mhm.
On the revenue, revenue's not, you don't get the same amount of property taxes each month, so it's a little bit,
Okay.
you shouldn't expect 20% at this point.
Mhm.
So this budget versus actual includes accrued revenues and expenditures to the projected budget.
Not really accrued. So accrued means budget versus actual reporting is modified accrual accounting. And what that means is basically cash basis accounting. So I'm geeking out on the definitions here. Accrued expenses means something that happened that hasn't been accounted for yet. So it's modified accrual, not accrual accounting, is to answer the question simply. But yeah, basically, if a vendor sends us a bill, it's in the account. Is how these reports work.
Hmm.
So like if a vendor hasn't sent us a bill, there could be, vendor did this service, they didn't send us a bill yet. That's not in until they send us the bill.
Like the communication expenses is still the same, so they haven't sent the bill yet.
Probably, yep.
And again,
Okay.
just for confirmation, any grants that we get, we have to have the money in the budget before we could actually take advantage of the grant unless it's a it doesn't it's a grant without having to have any, I guess, money to use it, for lack of a better term.
Right, so charter says we can't spend without appropriation.
Right.
Appropriation means we put it in the budget.
Mhm.
So that's where, I think that's what you're getting. So
Yeah,
if we get a new grant, we shouldn't spend on it until we've adjusted the budget.
okay.
And are we doing, I guess, we'll just use the HUD.
Mhm.
Understand that HUD
Mhm.
funding, because now with the federal government, where we see what's going on, I'm not sure that we will get that funding. I don't care what they appropriate, because we have already seen they've been appropriated and people just haven't. I mean, other states and other places
Yep.
have not received their funds. So if we're going to live in a fantasy world, that's one thing, but if we stay in reality, then, because that's a large amount of money. And for big project. So where are we as it relates to that?
So last I heard, and Clay, help me on, John sent an email about this, but I think it's on the HUD project, it's not a 1-for-1. So we don't even have to spend it before we draw it down. Meaning, once we have a design plan in place that's approved, we can draw down our first estimated year of spending.
Well, what will we
So-
draw down from?
The feds. So like all these grants have a report and you put in
Right.
your plan and you say, okay, here, Town of Forest Heights, we're gonna do X, Y, and Z. Here's our plan. Give us the first half, give us 350. And that's, so my understanding with that grant specifically is once our project plan is approved, we can draw down for what's included in our project plan. So meaning we can have the cash on that grant before we spend it. So.
But we
As long as you
don't.
have a project plan in
But we
place.
don't,
Right,
but
as long
we
as it's accepted.
accept it is the key, right?
Yeah, and I'm not certain. I
Right,
don't wanna.
Well, we have Mr. Jackson.
We should be clear about that. We should be clear about that.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
So what did you say, Mr.
He
Jackson?
stated it completely accurate.
Okay, so we don't know. So in other words, because he said he can't comment on that, so that's your.
My question was, how do we? I gotta find the email, but I think there was a plan written up where we can get paid on that grant before we, there's one more deliverable that we have to produce, and I don't remember what that deliverable is. It's what I'm.
For Blackhawk,
The HUD.
Yeah, the HUD money.
I money.
Yeah, and that's where I'm.
And I get everything you're saying, Mr. Frankenfield, but
Mhm.
my concern again is the federal government that we're working with. That's easy that these processes are in place, and that's how it should go. But we don't know that it will go that way. Like the government has not become a reliable source.
Yes, I
To
agree.
me.
And I agree with you, Council President, and I'm thinking too in terms of scenario planning, like what are we thinking? That if this is not really a viable option, what are we thinking in terms of being able to move forward with the project?
Or not,
Or does it just sit, right?
right,
Yeah.
Cause
no.
then it goes into a valley and it's like, okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know that we,
because,
did the risk assessment,
Yeah.
right? Like, are we gonna,
Yeah.
obviously, we're not gonna
Yeah,
pay the contractors, but we shouldn't even pay to draft the plan if the funding's not there, right?
right, well, and that's a question to the body. Is this something that is paused until we know for certain, what it is? I mean, as far as funding, or is
Cause otherwise the town is gonna be responsible.
right,
And we can't take on that type of responsibility.
Right.
and you can't, and the other thing is, even from your federal delegation, or even county or state, you can't get any promises, maybe on the state side, maybe, but not if they're relying on funding from somewhere else, but on the federal side, your delegation could say, yes, it's in there, but that's what it is, it's in there, but, how do we get it?
Yeah.
And we have to, before we create a fatal concern, is stop it or pause it until we have more understanding about that funding. That's my thing in a nutshell.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
if something's been submitted, then have we
Because
heard?
I thought that the funds for Black Hawk was awarded already.
Yeah,
awarded.
yeah, it's
It's
awarded.
awarded.
It's
Right.
awarded, we don't have any money.
So we don't have the money yet. So what is the time frame between the time that we got the award and when we should reasonably expect to be able to move forward? What is that time frame? Do we know, TA?
It was my understanding, I think I signed this in the last meeting, between 30 and 60 days.
Okay.
And that's tied into, we haven't received that.
Correct, correct. Yeah, and I think there's a plan. Let's see if I can find it in my emails. There's a plan to move forward with it. But yeah, again, my understanding before the government shut down was they would advance us. Now, I don't know if they can move
Right.
payments down.
No,
to
no, no,
30%.
We go forward, we have 30 to 60 days to move forward to the next level.
No, it's been years.
Uh-uh.
before. That's-
It's been longer than that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think
It's
that's-
been a year since we've been awarded it.
Yeah, I
It
would
was
say,
last
because we've been
year.
talking about it for a year,
Yeah,
so.
that was last year.
So I guess I'm trying to understand what, okay, so we've had a year. What has been going on within that year? Have you been waiting on what licenses, approvals or whatever? What have we been doing within that year?
The council just voted to approve the two who submitted. Who submitted
Okay,
RFQs to us.
Okay,
So that was
got it.
just in September, so. After that, we sent those to CPJ and Bailey. To draft proposals to us on how much it's gonna cost for the study. And then also a proposal on how much it will cost to complete the entire project. We just got those two proposals back this week. And we're gonna review those and obviously submit those to the council hopefully at the next meeting.
okay.
So it's moving, but it's moving slow because the council just voted to move forward.
But is that gonna go, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So what, I guess I'm trying to revisit, where is this 30 to 60 days coming from?
After we've submitted the RFQ, we make that notification to HUD, and then they were to release the 312,000 within 30 to 60 days of us submitting the approved RFQ and our plan and our action plan. So that's for that, based on their own policies. We haven't received it yet, but we're still expecting to receive.
Okay. Have any questions? Yes, yes, ma'am.
What is RFQ?
Request for request for qualification.
What does that mean?
The vendors provided us their qualifications that they can do what we're requesting.
Okay, so you had to submit 2 RFQs to the HUD grantee.
Well, they submit the vendors, the two vendors
Mhm.
submitted to us.
And what you do, with-
We verify, and then we,
how do you verify?
well, we reviewed what they've submitted. We would verify the references that they indicate. We review their licenses and their insurance.
So you do whether they're qualified if you're wanting to do
The job that.
okay.
Yeah, that's a prerequisite too, bro.
And so you submit those to HUD or you?
Yes, thank you, that we've completed step one.
Okay. Okay. And that's what when they say you get that to us, we'll release some money.
Yes, because we're on our way to completing the study, which we have to have that first.
Okay.
And so they know that we need money to do the study. So
Okay.
they. At the bottom.
Thank you.
Staying on this HUD thing is very interesting. Okay, if we collect or if we are granted 312,000, how much of that have we already spent?
We haven't, I think Councilman Brown asked the same question. Council meeting, and I reached out to Mr. O'Connor for that, and we haven't spent anything on the project. Yes.
But- Here it says you spent $24,000.
Well, I think that may be administrative costs,
So that is something. So that, I guess.
not the project.
Right, but that is part of the project, so that, I guess, now I'll get back to where I am on the pause part. Cause if we're not gonna get paid, I mean, then we can't afford to pay, you know what I mean? I mean, that's my thing, so now I feel that we're at a different place, cause now we got something to submit. So it's 312,000 minus 25,000 at this point, if we're gonna be real about these numbers, right? Because we gotta reimburse ourselves for this payment to the person who managed the project, right?
Mhm.
Right? So that's what I'm saying. Let's be realistic about the spending. So now we're there. So you're saying that maybe November, there'll be something before us that we can,
Can't give you a specific date. That's the,
that's
that's
the
the
proposal,
give us.
You mean for the proposal?
right?
Yeah.
Oh, no, the proposal, yeah,
I mean, to
yeah,
go through to HUD, that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
Is it something that we need to vote on?
Yeah.
That should be at next.
Yes, because you have to vote on which one of these two,
Well, if you all did a study, to me, you need to come with this is what you,
we just got. It.
right, or you studying it now.
Well, we're looking at.
That's what I mean, that's what I mean, so when you come to us, that should be done. You know what I mean? Not for us to have a choice,
No, so you have two people you have to choose,
right,
and you have to look at what they're gonna charge us.
right,
And then you make a decision on which one of these two, one you work with several times in the past. The other is fairly new to the town. And so you have to make a decision on which one of these, based on their numbers, you approve to do this study. And we're hoping to present you what these numbers are, they provide us to do the next meeting.
and will that come with references to?
Ship on the whole.
Okay, well, I just inquire, I just wanna know, only because we have people, I mean, that lived on Black Hawk that sold their house because they were tired of hearing about what may be. That's why and that's toward 3, thank you,
Mhm.
okay.
Mhm.
Yes, ma'am.
You must be acknowledged. Right?
Yes, ma'am, let me ask you a question.
Thank you.
Okay,
So,
Councilman.
she's a chairperson now.
Oh, I didn't hear that far, okay.
Oh, yeah, she introduced
Oh, you didn't know I was the chairman?
Yes, ma'am, I did. I was just.
You
It was a great conversation. I didn't know we had to raise our hands, but I.
Well, she's
No,
she's not a member of the committee.
Oh,
We
okay.
can talk.
That's what
You
I'm
waited to see that- Oh, okay.
I'm
See.
sorry.
You wasn't here, but
All out.
Yes, they did. They did shut it down. It's fine. Shut it down.
I have one question. Thank you for acknowledging my question.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. My question is the two people that are submitting their qualification to do the study, will they be charging for the study? And if so, what, you have two numbers there, so will they be charging for the study?
Yes, and that's where the three fall.
No, but I think she's asking, are they charging to write the proposal? No, I think the answer is no, right? They're soliciting the town for work.
Right,
So
but
Jeff,
in order to
three.
do the study, they will be charged.
Then that's where the fee will come in.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
You know what's going on, TA?
What's going on?
I said,
Oh,
I said he
Lord.
knows what's going on.
Oh,
That's what I
Lord.
said.
That's why we're so lucky he's here.
That's right. Exactly.
Oh,
He's
Lord.
on the 011.
Well, we're gonna be calling 911. If this thing doesn't go right, I'm tell you that name.
Well, that ain't gonna be, I mean, hey, we just need to be. But
Now, no,
it should be
311.
spending more than we have.
Right,
Right now, we don't have nothing.
right.
Well, yeah, and the one number I was searching for, I didn't give it to you, but we're up 200 grand from where we were last year. So like
Yeah.
this time last year, we have $200,000 more. Our budget went down from where it was last year. We made some cuts.
Mhm.
So we got the base is the one
Yeah.
thing that I want to tell this group. We can't go crazy, but strategic growth and we're in a good spot.
Yeah, but it's early yet.
It is early.
So that
Everything-
200 look good right now, like my bank account look good right now.
Mm-hmm.
But catch me again there, it may.
After Christmas.
But that's why for me, that's why I always ask the question, can we see the numbers at the end of the month as opposed to the middle? And I know reporting wise, you want to get it to the council, but I thought it was agreed upon if we saw those end numbers month in as opposed to in the middle, because the middle may look good because things haven't cleared or haven't been paid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I like to see like a real number, and I don't know if that requires us to vote on it or if that's something. And I thought the mayor said you could do that.
Yeah. Well, so it's in the other reports, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I guess we only give the budget versus actual. We don't give cash at the end of the month.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so because that in the middle, it's that's what it is. In the middle, everything look good in the middle.
Right. And that's the way I feel about it too. So, I mean, we could even do that before for the second meeting. We just don't have enough time.
That's what I'm saying, right? I mean, I think it would do justice for the town to know, the
Yeah,
numbers
Yeah, I like end of the month.
Yeah, as
I don't like
opposed
that
to-
either. Yeah.
in the middle.
Any questions?
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Brownson. So I hear you saying that we're doing good as a town right now, we're 200,000 over last year. But I asked this question before in the public meeting, that it is anticipated and that property taxes for some people can be relaxed this year. So are we anticipating less property taxes coming in? Then my second question is, if we're doing good, are we to put some of that money into our rainy day fund? Because we haven't contributed anything to that in years.
Yeah, I agree.
Mhm.
I don't love the idea of the rainy day fund, because I think we need it for staff retention, which is COLA, benefits, any of those things, new hires. I think we need it for a vehicle fund. Rainy day comes with strings, right? We gotta almost pass legislation to get it out. So
I like it.
I'm not a fan of the rainy day fund, because I think there's other services we can be doing and there's other planning we could do.
Yeah, but the rainy day fund is a charter requirement, not whether we like it or not. And it's required that we have a certain percentage in there according to our operating.
Okay,
So that's why I'm asking that, because it hasn't changed in years, but our budget has changed. So it's gone up, it's gone down, and nothing has been contributed. That's required in the charter.
yeah, that's what I want to read it then and see
Yeah.
what the specifics are, because I mean, there were some years there we couldn't afford to contribute to, so.
Right. But when you could, you should have.
Right. Well, and I think on the finance part, that's some of the concern is that if we stay focused on what has already been charted out, whether, it's like we go over here, rob Peter to pay Paul, because that's just what the time is. But if people have a clear understanding of what the finances are, what we must do, as opposed to what we want to do or what we need to do, then we could, we got to streamline some things, right?
The rainy day fund, from my understanding, is like having enough money to pay your bills if the government shut down for 6 months.
Right.
So that's kind of what the rainy day fund represents in the town.
Mhm.
What do we have
Or-
in
or
our
maybe
rainy
the
day
percentages,
I'm sorry.
So
What do we have in a rainy day fund?
it's like 185.
Okay, cause
185, believe me, 185.
185,000.
yeah,
So-
so
The charter says it needs to have at least 75,000 or 2% of the fiscal year.
Right, 2%, right.
2%, now, does it say we have to contribute 2% or has to have?
That's the have it in it.
Be smaller.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It should be in it. So that may mean to me, not that I think the way I decipher it is you always maintain that balance. So it may, like this 200,000, maybe it's just a portion of that needs to go in it to meet the percentage of the operating budget, to make sure the rainy day matches up to the operating, right? So
Is
that's,
that's what you consider prudent reserve? Mr. Chair?
So I look at the whole thing, right? Rainy day, to me, rainy day fund is part of the general fund. It's part of, it's all one pot. And as of now, we've got prudent reserves considering one whole pot,
Okay.
not just the rainy day fund,
Okay,
is the way I
okay,
think of it.
okay,
So, yeah,
Okay, so we do have a prudent reserve. Okay,
yeah, I think,
what is the prudent reserve?
so we talk about like this time of year, if we have 2 months of expenses,
Okay.
2 months of
That goes to
expenses,
the Brownson saying the government shut down, you guys, how many months do you have to
Exactly.
pay your?
exactly,
your-
right.
So we got what again?
If we have, so to me, the threshold's 2 months,
2 months, okay.
right? Like if we get to 3, 4, 5, we're doing good. I gotta math it out right now, but I think we're at 3 or 4, basically.
Okay.
So like
Okay.
anything under 2 months is dangerous.
Okay.
Because then we're like, oh, something happens, we might not
Right.
be able to make our bills.
Okay.
that's why we need to get that.
And not only the bills, but, well, I guess payroll is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bills
Bills are bills, yeah. And then is it some bills or some, is it some things that we're duplicating in certain places or even, that's why I always act, like this electronic board, that's just something in my side thorn. But do we pay electrical bill for that? Because I know Pepco put the line in for free, but that thing not running off the air. Right? So do we know what the bill is?
We can segregate that, if there's a way, I'll find out, I'm sure we are paying electricity.
Yeah, so if we could just, because is the electricity based on how much we're running on, we need to know what that's attached to. Is it attached to the building, the bill? Or what is it attached to?
But that's all in the utility services, right, Tom? So that includes all of the water, the gas, the electric, the cable, all of that stuff is in there, right?
Right.
Okay, so you're.
My question is, how much are we paying for electricity?
Yeah, but I guess I'm just trying to get clear, it's just not electricity. There is a collection of what goes into electrical services. So when we look at all of the items in there, then that's the question, what's all in that portion of the budget, right?
No, not in the budget, in okay, you get an electricity bill at your house based on your usage. We get one here for the town based on the usage.
Okay.
What is the usage? The usage includes the electronic board, it includes this building, because we have several electrical bills, right?
Yeah, it's probably
So-
6 a month, 8 a month.
Right,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
they're all over the place, even street lights, some of them are on electrical bill, so we haven't identified what's what and how much it costs.
So you're going down to the linear.
Girl, right.
But I'm just trying to see if that's reasonable. Because then you gotta, okay, so then you gotta go to Pepco, and then Pepco gotta tell you what the readings are. Are you saying to that?
No, first of all, Pepco, it's already in your bill, it's not nothing that Pepco got to do.
Oh, I guess you do wanna see how much.
Yeah.
Specifically, the digital boards are taking out.
I'm trying to see, right, is that
She
ten
don't have
thousand?
digital boards, that's.
It's not that.
She thinks it's a waste, right?
I don't think it's a waste. I think it's a waste when the information is not viable to the resident. Darn right, I think it's a waste. But right now, it's a hearing for this National View. That's not on the board, but everything in their mother is up on the board. You know what I'm saying? So that's my, now you all make me go to my personal spot.
For the national.
Oh, and look up on the board. I can tell you. It's November 20th. It's November 20th. I'll send you a text. No, I'll still stick by what I said. Thank you.
So if I could just,
Yeah.
remind you,
Yes.
your argument is still about, I don't know.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I don't know what the digital board specifically is costing us, I can see if we can find out. But also, don't forget, which is probably been sustained for a while, we have a 40 grand.
A credit.
Yes.
But not for too long, because if we talk about bills at 15,000, how long, Oh,
They're not.
I don't know,
They're not.
because I've been
I
in the
think the
office
board is
when,
useful too,
look,
it
I've
just
been in
needs
the
a
office.
little TLC, that's all, it does, it needs a little TLC.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's the board.
It does.
But it's nothing up there.
Send someone to the board, maybe
So the
someone.
TA got it, the TA got it.
Our last bill for town hall, specifically was $767.
But that's not bad. Okay.
I apologize for removing my hair, but we just in our family.
Well, you all on the screen too.
Well, that side isn't shown, so you good.
Okay, good.
They can't see it.
Yeah, you can see her.
Rapunzel.
Rapunzel.
Okay, what time is it? Okay, it's 10:55 now, 5 last minutes. Any specific questions that anyone has to ask? I kind of want to know about the workers' compensation, like what does that mean? Is that overtime?
Workers' comp is insurance, so if the staff get injured on the job, the town will have to replace their income.
Okay, because I was looking at line item 9003705, workers' compensation general government, and it's over by 505.
Yeah, we need to, so that bill gets split between the three departments. The way, we didn't do a good job splitting the bill is what I'm getting. So it's not overspending, we could have done a better job of coding. Because the plate is probably not gonna get hurt and debilitated.
Well, we don't know.
Right, I'm like, compared to a police officer, right? So
Oh, okay.
90% of the workers' comp that the town pays is to cover the police force, because there's a significant risk that they can become hurt or disabled while doing the job. So that, you're looking at the general government
But the
slice
police
of that.
department also has a workers' compensation.
Yeah, 100%.
So we
I was
have-
wondering what's the difference between the general government workers' compensation and the police department's workers' compensation?
So again, the police departments, that's the expensive piece of the workers' comp policy, because there's a lot of risk there. So we split it when we get the bill and we say 3% to general government, 10% to public works, and the rest to the police department. So I think we get a better job splitting the bill,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
And on that workman's comp, is that considering everyone on payroll,
Yeah.
including the council?
But you're fairly inexpensive because you're in the same risk category as Clay. It's very unlikely.
Well, we don't know, do we, Mr. Jenkins?
So this budget isn't saying that's what's been paid out. This is just what's been paid for the insurance of working compensation.
Correct.
All right,
Yeah,
but,
correct. Yeah, so it gets split, but
Okay.
the gist of it is the police department's expensive.
okay,
because there's
I
more
was
risk
just
there.
wondering who we been paying workers' compensation to. That's what I was thinking, like someone was hurt and we've been paying it out, but this is just what we paid for.
Yeah, this is the premium. policy.
Okay,
Well, I guess it's just one workman's compensation. It's not like you can go find another
Right.
plane.
Right.
Okay. Mhm. All right.
So we have 13,778,969.59 in total assets. And we also have 13,000, that same number, in total liabilities and equity.
Assets and accumulation.
Yeah, so the one that matters there is the bottom, which is the equity.
Right.
So liabilities take away from the assets to get the equity. Equity would be like, if we were a company, what could we sell the company for? Well, that's the value of the town. So equity is the one that matters there.
Right, that's a little confusing to me. Because if we can't, to me, we can't have the same amount of money in assets that we do in liabilities and equity.
But that's how it works.
That's
Because
because
that's
So- If you have $1 million in cash, you have $1 million in equity. If you don't have anything else, right? If you have zero
Yeah.
debt, you have $1 million in
Yeah.
cash, $1 million in
Yeah.
equity. Liabilities plus equity equal assets. It has to work that way. So if you have $1 million in cash and $1 million in debt, you have zero equity.
Right,
So yeah, that's the way it
Okay.
works. So liabilities plus equity equal assets. Is
I just had one question for my understanding of the budget better. So I see with Ford's Heights Day, we didn't go over the budget, thank God.
Right.
We're actually under budget. So what will happen with that money? Can it be reallocated right now or just wait until next budget?
what line item is that, Chair?
990108010.
so obviously, as a council, you can make any decisions you like, right? Appropriations lapse at the end of the year. That's in the charter. What that means is if you budgeted 30 grand and you spent 5, you have an extra 25. That 25 goes to savings. If you
Okay.
don't, but you can move it. Yes, of course, we can move
If
it to
you
a.
see a need.
If we see a need, or we'll just leave it sit there for the rest of the year and keep the 5 grand that we kind of saved by not spending it.
Okay, cool.
Where's the harvest going?
We didn't line item that. One thing I want to talk to the group about is for next year, I want to do a little bit more thoughtful planning on the events. Let's do that, I don't know how we would do it, Clay, if there's an events committee and they submit a proposal, but that's.
Just send out the council an email, we're planning to have a calendar meeting next month.
Okay.
Well, I think the problem is for prior events, they've already just been, this is what we're gonna do. So if you get input, then probably we will be on budget and could get a proposal. Because here we go again, we never measure success, we measure success because it was done. being done doesn't mean it was successful, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do we put that into play too? We had a Veterans Day commission, something. So you had 3 guests, but everybody else was part of this body. Was that successful? Yeah, because they got it done. But was it? How many veterans came? You know, that we have to really, and maybe I'm just this hardball person, but you have to, when you're dealing with money, you gotta be more accurate as opposed to guessing. So that's just my 2 cents. Thank you.
But we have standing events that we already know that could be planned better. The ones that we know are standing. That is gonna happen because they're chartered events,
We
right?
have no chartered events, do we?
We don't have Forest Heights Day,
That's not a chartered event.
so we don't have any chartered
No.
events. Okay, so that's something to think
They're
about.
just saying it's always been, that's.
Yes.
So that's something to think about.
And Harvest Day Fest, that would be under the MNCPP youth, right?
So that's where we back into it, right? Because we have that grant funding that would support those type of activities. But like next year, I think we create lines and we say,
Yeah.
here's our events budget. There's
Right.
6 events in it. We've got, X per event, and we name the event. Cause I get questions mid-year about, well, how much is in this budget? And I'm like, we're gonna talk about that budget.
Right.
We got-
What do you want me to do, right?
Right.
I invest on this year's budget. We did,
Right.
we have specific on this year's budget. You can go look at the line item.
It could be a little,
Hey, right there, yeah.
What specifically, say what you mean.
We had Forest Heights Day.
Because
had,
we increased that amount.
Yeah, Foresight Day.
We
yeah,
have
no.
this, we have this.
What?
No, because this-
No, because we were
this is-
supposed
We
to,
weren't supposed to have.
we were supposed to coordinate with the
Exactly.
community because you had things going on at the churches and other places. We were going to be a part of that. So that's the other thing where we get off track is when we agree in one setting and then, oh, okay, we're gonna do it anyway.
Anyway.
So that, and that calls for accountability.
But I do remember that the youth coordinator said that he got additional funds from the county to do
Right.
Harvest Fest, and they're funding some of it,
Mhm.
so something should be coming for that.
Yeah, and we got lucky this year because we had that county money that. But I think
Yeah.
it's, to me, it's planning. If we talk about
Yeah.
it ahead of time and do a better job of
Yeah.
planning,
Yeah.
we're all
But
good.
some things you can't plan for, like if Ed Burr's office said, we wanna have Harvest Fest, you can host it, here's the money.
Yeah.
We're gonna take it.
Right, yeah.
But like the Thanksgiving this stuff, we have been talking about, what are we gonna be doing for Thanksgiving?
There's nothing in it.
But we talked
But
about
I'm
that too.
just saying, that's one of the things that we have been talking about, trying to plan better so that we're not recreating the wheel every year for Thanksgiving. There was some coordination, a little bit with Abundant Life and the pastor, Mark, St. Mark's, when it came to last year's Thanksgiving. So, but the town itself, we did baskets the first year that I came on council, and that was the last time we did baskets. So what are we doing, TA, for Thanksgiving this year?
But that's not,
at 11%
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now, right now.
Okay, go ahead.
It has not been over. Yeah, we gonna actually,
Okay.
yeah, we're gonna talk about that in detail a little later. Let's get over today.
That's
We've
fine.
gone over our time for our meeting for
Okay,
that. So if all hearts are clear, minds are set, I would like to adjourn this meeting.
thank you.
Let's say, when the next meeting.
What we doing?
Next meeting, I said we're just gonna discuss events.
It'll be the fourth quarter, I mean, it's
Second quarter, end of the second.
the fourth Saturday in January.
Mm.
Yeah. That's a done deal though.
Should we plan that now?
Yes,
Or-
ma'am.
Yes.
So before we adjourn the meeting, I would like to redact that statement. Can we go ahead and plan our next meeting?
No, just say what it is, fourth
Fourth
Saturday in
Saturday in
January,
January.
So saying the 24th.
24th.
January 24th,
I might.
2026.
Okay, and would you be able to attend?
Yes,
We can
as
do
of now,
virtual,
right?
depending on the weather too.
Oh, yeah, maybe first maybe depending on the weather, because January is a chilly month. It's my birthday month, so
So just for this.
Saturday morning. It's a Saturday morning, it's my birthday month. Okay, well now, meeting adjourned.
Put that thing off, because I want to say this about Thanksgiving. responsibility, because I've said it